Welcome to the Gambia Football Federation, our live streaming platform on Gambia Football Federation Facebook page, where we bring you activities and engagements of the Football Federation. And today we have the pleasure to bring to you the Director of Communications, our boss, 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍, on matters regarding communication. And in this 30 minutes of discussion and chat with Babukar, we'll be looking at the structure of the communications department, its staffing. We'll also be looking at the roles and responsibilities, and also finally to look at the new media and its digital platform currently which we are doing, that is the live streaming. My name is 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍, and the program is being backed up as always by Omar Toure, Mariama Koma, and also Mariama Bojang. Thank you very much for joining us. Greetings and welcome, Babukar.
Well, Bibi, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you've given me a serious trouble because everyone who knows me would know me of not being a very good orator. I mean, if you want to see me, you know, just give me a text and ask me to sit on my desk with my laptop in the front of me.
You do the literature.
I'm telling you, I'll do it from here till morning. I'm not tired. But this is not one of my best attributes. Yeah. But I will try my best.
That's right. That's right. Babukar, good to have you. It's a great pleasure having you. It reminisces my mind as to you and I crossing paths since our heydays at West Coast Radio, where you were responsible for our website. You remember the Gambia Sports Online?
That was a long time ago. You were talking about I think our paths first crossed in 2006. You know, when you were reporting from them.
You know,
and then I was
across the river.
Exactly, across the river.
Yes.
From Bara, Eso and Mayamba. And you know, I always used to hear this melodious voice on radio, on West Coast Radio. Yeah. And then I was also a Rocky reporter at the time at West Coast. I think that's where our
and you got inspired.
Of course. And then of course, I joined the institution formally after you. You had already joined.
Yes.
And then I think I mean, around 2006 or 2007, I was just going on and off because I was also going to school at the time.
Yeah.
But then in 2008, I went there for like a couple of months, and then I got this offer to be staffed by Peter Gomez, and the rest, as they would say, is history.
Absolutely.
Until when I resigned from my post in September 2010, then as the editor of Gambia Sports Online, and then I don't know whether people thought I owned Gambia Sports Online, not knowing that it was a subsidiary of West Coast Radio. And I think Gambia Sports Online was something that definitely contributed greatly into making
it was a trailblazer.
I am today, because you know, while you know others were concentrating on talking on radio, I know I do not have the voice maybe to become a broadcaster. I use Gambia Sports Online to develop my writing skills. I remember one person that I'm always grateful to is ヴ𝒐𝒊𝒏 Gomez. He really encouraged me, and you know, he was the one who was pushing me to not be a copycat, as he would call it. He said, you know, Babukar, I know you have the talent, but please don't be like other journalists where they will just go and sit on radio.
There was well before 𝒂𝒊𝒏, there was absolute trust and confidence reposed on you by the management of West Coast Radio, and that, of course.
But of course, that was what he saw, and you know, he also saw the potential. Because you see, I mean, I could have been discouraged. You know, when I got attached to West Coast Radio, I think I went there. I was there for 3 months before I even spoke on radio. Nobody could give me the microphone. But the first day that I was given the microphone and I went on air, 𝒂𝒊𝒏 was.
You had some trembles, huh?
You know, I mean, I think for me, not so much, because I also sometimes, I mean, it can be a problem, but I think I have self-confidence in my own abilities as well.
Certainly.
And another person that I will never forget is definitely the late 𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒏.
Oh, 𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒏.
𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒏 was my neighbor.
The Prince of Janjambure.
I'm telling you, 𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒏 was pushing me to write articles, and then, you know, he will take them to the Daily Observer. Then I never dreamt of even becoming a journalist at the time. You know, but whether it was designed by destiny or whatever, I ended up being the de facto editor-in-chief of the Daily Observer at some point in my career.
Yeah.
So KYM also, may his soul continue to rest in eternal peace in Jannatul Firdaus.
During your heydays, still on reminiscing our heydays at West Coast Radio, you went to school at this communication school along the
Stratford
College of Management. You had 6 months stint there, or 1 year?
It was a year program.
It was a year program.
In mass communication, yes.
Okay. And that also added some impetus on your writing skills.
It did.
Perfect.
And life is a journey where you continue to learn on a daily basis.
Perfect.
I'm still learning. I'm still a student.
Perfect. Later you went to the Daily Observer, the country's most readable newspaper you can find in the Gambia. You started with the ladder, going up, until finally you became the editor of the sports column.
I wouldn't like this to be to turn out as being me.
These are things that has to come, that has to crop up, because they are very important.
I tell you how this happened. When I left West Coast, I was already, in my own ways, I've already left a mark.
Yep.
And a lot of people were relying on my work at the time. So I think Nanama, the then sports editor of the Observer, had it somewhere that I was resigning. You know, because I think most of you people, knew that I was resigning the day that I resigned, after when I already submitted my resignation letter. But he got a tip-off from someone that I was actually resigning in 2 days.
Yes.
So when I resigned, that particular day, while I was, even before I submitted my letter, excuse me, beg your pardon, it was after I submitted my letter. Yeah. You know, he called me to say, well, I understand that you are leaving. I said, yes, but so, do you have anywhere else to go? I said, no, well, I've just resigned. Yeah. I've not even thought of that
going anywhere yet.
So he invited me to visit him at the Observer, and, you know, when we went there, he said, you know, he has some challenges, and that he would want me to come and, you know, and assist him as a freelance. So I was there working with him as a freelance. After some time, you know, Bibi, I will tell you, I was writing a lot of stories to the point that I was receiving more than staff reporters, you know.
Absolutely.
So to the point that I think they could not keep up with that, I had to leave and go back to the today newspaper. Until when he had a problem with the then management. With all honesty, I mean, this came to me as a dream that I met with the then managing director of the Observer, Malik Fai, to offer me a job.
Wow.
Yeah. So Malik, yes. So the next morning, I was attending my cousin's naming ceremony in this place, the camp. Yeah. This was June 2011. Then I met Malik, as it showed to me in my dreams, honestly. Alan knows. Wow. And I met him in that particular spot. Wow. In fact, I saw him, you know, he was driving. He was in his Hyundai Terecan at the time, I remember. I just waved to him. The moment he saw me, he stood. I said, go, we are going. First we are going to say, no, come. Then he offered me this job. Wow. I said, well, I'll have to think about it. The first thing I did was I called Nanama. So he introduced me to them. So when I called him, he said, well, you can take it, because for me, my problem with them is irreparable now. I mean, I cannot take it. So even if you don't take it, someone else will take it.
Someone else
That was how I accepted.
For him, he was going.
That was how I accepted the job. And then, you know, I rose through ranks from head of sports desk to sports editor to senior news and sports editor.
You became a darling.
And then eventually I became the deputy editor-in-chief. Wow. You know, so, you know, but towards the time that I was going to the Observer and up to the time that I left, Observer was structured in such a way that the deputy editor-in-chief is also the editor-in-chief per se, because the managing director was combining those roles.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want us to go so deep into your personal profile. Excuse me for that. Fast forward, you came to the Gambia Football Federation after your studies from the university and all that stuff as HR manager.
Yeah. What actually happened was, you know, I was offered. I have had several offers to join the GFF, honestly. Okay. Even during the time of Sidi Kinte, I got an offer. Yes. I never took it. The time of 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, not 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 directly, but through one of his colleagues, of course, who was very, very central in his team. also gave me an offer here. I said, no, you know what, I'm not interested. I love what I'm doing. I just want to be a practicing journalist.
Yep.
So I turned that down also. So when Kaba also came, actually, I got an offer, but I never took them serious.
Yeah.
Because for me, all I loved was journalism, and that's why I went to university to study journalism. So up to the election in 2016 December. So after the election, in fact, the day before the elections, when I left, when I was leaving my office,
yes,
I dropped everything that belonged to the Observer at the time. Yes,
yeah.
because if Yajama had won, I was not going to go back to the Observer. I mean, I don't want to be. I'm not going to be fired.
You have your reasons.
Yes. My job was threatened.
Yep,
by the then managing director at the time. He stated to my face that I was an opposition. He's been told, and he could confirm that. And his problem was that I attended the nomination of Mama Kanda in 2016.
Okay.
There was a whole management meeting for that matter. But I said, hey, come on, why should I? I mean, I'm the editor-in-chief here. I assign the reporters. So I determined I can go to any coverage.
Absolutely.
I don't need your permission to go there.
Absolutely.
So he said after the elections, he was going to fire me, Omar Wali, and 𝒂𝒂𝒃𝒆. I said, well, I've heard from you. Yours, I've not heard from Allah yet, but I've heard yours as well. So that was why when I was leaving before the elections, I packed everything, even my slipper that I used to perform ablution, I packed it. I was going to go, So, but when Yajama lost the elections, for me, at that point in time, Observer was very, very crucial. It needed me most than even before. So I decided to stay until a week or two later, I was assigned a task to this. In fact, this was before a week, even before Yajama reneged on his acceptance of the election result. I saw it coming because I was assigned to do an editorial to put the credibility of the election in questions. I refused to do that. I said I'm siding with the government people.
Yeah.
So a week or two later, there was a meeting at the Observer over the weekend. There are some prominent members of the APRC government, including ministers, and mayors attended. I was tipped. Yes, I was already removed without my knowledge, but I was told by one of my junior colleagues, because for me, I'm that type of person. I respect everyone and I interact with everyone. Sure. So you should interact with people, even those below you in terms of the administrative cadre. You respect everyone. There are things that you'll be privy to when they are coming your way. Sure. I remember I performed ablution. I was about to pray, so I got called by the then admin manager, giving me my letter that I had been demoted, coming with a very, very massive salary reduction as well. I accepted it in good faith, and I prayed my Asr prayers. I prayed to God to be the judge. Even that day, I did the whole paper. Put it to print. I went home the next morning. I resigned. So when I resigned, I got this offer at the GFF. 2 weeks later, I joined because at the time now, I'm not employed. So, and then of course, I would definitely have to get employed. So I got this offer, because then I was going to university. 2 years into my university, and I did some administrative courses, management courses for that matter. And the fact that I was editor-in-chief, the deputy editor also, I was the one head of a department already, not only editorial matters, but also administrative and management matters in terms of the editorial department was my responsibility. So I, had a little bit, experience in terms of management. That was why I offered. I got that offer to be HR manager. And when I came here at the GFF, more than 80% of the GFF did not have a file. Yeah. I think I have done my part as well. I know that there were a lot of queries when I got that appointment. Some people thought that it was just favoritism because I have no. Don't worry. Don't worry. But I think I have done my part, and the records are there.
Are there to speak for itself.
Yes. So. Yes, that is that.
That's right. Thank you very much, Babukar. If you are just joining us along, we welcome you to our outreach program, Facebook Live, where we stream for you activities and engagements of the Gambia Football Federation. Today we have been joined by the Director of Communications, Babukar Kamara, and as I said before, We'll be looking at a few thematic areas: structure of the communications department, its staffing. We'll look at the roles and responsibilities, and also look at our outreach platforms. That's the new media and its digital platform. But we can still fast forward. Later, you were acclaimed to becoming the head of a department. That's the marketing and communications. By the way, we should say that they are now divorced. Marketing is on its side, and communication is on its side as well. Let's look at the structure of the communications department and its staffing.
Okay. First of all, you know, by the time I was joining the Observer, there was no department of communications.
Yes.
It was a whole one-man show. Of course, you were the media officer at the time, being responsible of all media matters.
Everything.
We were a one-man elephant, you know. I remember sometimes we do consult because of my experience and speciality in communication. You know, I come and assist where necessary. So, you know, when I took over when I came here, I was just 2 years into my university. You know, I must say this, that I was actually paying on my own. But after 3 months, when I got confirmed, the GFF took over because
to pay for you.
Of course, at the GFF, I mean, it's no longer secret that capacity building, especially the administrative staff, is very key to the development agenda of the Football Federation.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are now going to university and other tertiary institutions, and have been paid by the GFF.
The GFF. Yeah.
So the GFF took over the finances of my university up to the final 2 years when I finished. So upon completion of my university degree, I got this offer from the executive. I remember, you know, even when I was at the Observer, there was an advertisement where they were looking for a director of marketing. Actually, it used to be marketing alone. But I understand they could not get the profile that they were looking for. They had to self-it. And this process started during 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔 time.
Long time ago.
Of course, you know, I remember, I mean, I was there, you know, because I always had this very good relations with the GFF. Whenever they were bringing advertisements to the Observer, it always comes through me.
Sure.
So even after that, when Kaba took over also, you know, it has always been a challenge. So, but upon completion of my university, the executive decided that they had to, it's now time to establish a department of communication and marketing. And, you know, this was even a FIFA requirement because communication is key. I mean, it has to be, you know, at the lifeblood of any organization. So, because I had already graduated firstly from the University of the Gambia with a communication-related degree, that is journalism, I was offered and then I accepted. So, when I got accepted, it was only me and you working in the department.
Yes.
But then, as part of the restructuring and also ensuring that we meet, I mean, the target that we've set ourselves, you know, we had to reorganize the whole and restructure the whole department by creating some certain positions in the organogram. And then
to beef up the department.
And when you look at football communication, like I said, it's important, can be overemphasized. And 1, 2, 3, not even 3 people can do all the communication aspects in a football federation. So that was when we created media assistants, you know, communications manager, communications officer. You know, we have also an IT manager. You know, IT manager who is a very versatile person. Absolutely. Not only concentrated on the technology aspect of it, but also our vision of turning the GFF into a vibrant digital platform. So that was how Omar came in, and Omar was my colleague at the Observer.
Yes.
This was someone who has the talent and the potential. I mean, I mean, me and him will always fight, but
yeah.
he's one of the most talented, I can say that anyway, he's one of the most talented people I've ever come across.
Sure.
You know,
that's
for me, when it comes to anything that has to do with communications, the digital aspect of it, as far as I'm concerned, I made myself believe that there is nothing that Omar cannot do.
We all believe in that.
There is nothing that the boy cannot do.
We all believe in that.
You understand? We will always fight, you know, but me and him have come a long way. So
we all believe in that.
So that's how he also came in, and I think the records are there. We now see whenever the national team travel, any travel in national, and all categories of our national team, being women or male, even the age categories, whenever they are traveling, they travel.
We will come to national team matters when it comes to communication.
So and then the department continues to expand. You know, of course, you are there as my immediate assistant. I'm just there as the director in supervising and coordinating.
Things,
you know, setting up the strategic directions and ensuring that, you know, it filters through and it is implemented. And you know, we also have 2 media assistants in Amadou Oba and Ibrahim Suare. Then we have 2, you know, hardworking, amazing, and beautiful young ladies who have also been added up.
Very decent girls.
Of course, Mariama Komma, who is one of our cameramen now, and Mariama Bojang, who also has, you know, quite an experience when it comes to
she's very sweet. She's very sweet.
So these are the people now working on the department, and the department will continue to grow because football is growing on a daily basis.
Yes, perfect. Quite explicit, Mr. Director. How about their roles and responsibilities?
Well, like I said, I think I touched into it already.
Yes, you touched into that.
Of course, I am responsible at the strategic level. Of course, when the executive makes their policies, it is the responsibility now of the secretariat, here by the general secretary is also the CEO, to ensure that they are implemented. And you know, each department
tries to filter it down.
You know, each department is linked to the general secretary, so I'm the liaison between the department and the general secretary. So when the executive wants something to be done, it filters down to me through the general secretary, and now the general secretary is responsible for the implementation, but not him. Say having to implement it, then now it becomes my responsibility to ensure it is implemented. And then that is where you have my relationship with you, when anything that we have that we need to be done, that's through to you, then it becomes now your responsibility to manage, make sure that to manage the staff working under you as well. So that's that.
That's that. Perfect, wonderful. And this now takes me to our responsibilities and functions when we travel with the national team. All the categories of the national team, call it male or even female. What kind of role or what kind of functions do we play to making sure that the activities and engagement of our national teams come to doorsteps of the football family?
It is a very, very important question. But even before I go into that, I just want to give a little background of how the communications media came into the national team.
Yes.
I mean,
that is quite important.
For a very long time.
Yeah, very long time.
Our national teams will travel, they will go away and play. Hardly there is any news. You understand? And I will credit the leadership of the GFF.
Yeah.
But also, you see, there is a proverb in 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒏𝒆𝒍. You understand? And that for me, that sabab has been the team manager, Usman Drame. See, when Cho came to the national team, he has changed the entire dynamics of national team management. He's made it more professionalized and more attractive to even the players.
Yes.
And then, you know, when he made a case for a media officer to be included in the national team, you know, sometimes, I mean, it's not everybody that is going to agree to change. Sometimes people do not see the need. You have to explain to them and make them understand
that
and know its importance. You know, so he was able to convince them, and before that it was unthinkable. But now we have two people, and these two people, their roles are completely different, because you have a media officer whose role is not only to conduct interviews, write stories, but also to coordinate all media activities. Including press conferences, including even when you travel. You know, when your opponents wants to interview your coach or your players, you have to make all these coordinations for them.
You are always the intermediary.
You are always the intermediary.
You have done a lot of that at the AFCON.
You understand?
Yes.
You know,
that is a case study.
Of course. And that was quite an experience. So, and then also we have the our cameraman,
yes,
you know, who is able to bring these feeds for us, for it to be broadcast to Gambians live whenever we are playing, except on cases when we have problems with right issues.
Right issues,
but
yes.
other than that, you know, in most of the engagements,
even with the right issues,
exactly,
we try to maneuver.
Exactly. And I think this has also brought the national team closer
to the people.
And people have taken ownership.
Oh yes.
You understand? This has played a key role. And you know, I mean, you have traveled quite often a lot, you know, with the national team. You've seen other countries when the national team delegations have traveled. It's a whole media setup.
It's a whole media setup.
You know,
I think we will come to that one day.
Yeah, it's a whole media setup.
Yeah.
It's not a two-man job.
Absolutely.
But we will get there.
We'll get there one day.
So that is for the national team. But other categories, then, you know, we try to go with only one reporter. You know, because when you come to our national teams, it is the government that is taking care of. I mean, I think now government is not 100%, but 90 to 95% of
the chunk of it,
of the senior national team is the responsibility of the of the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Youth and Sport and National Sport. They've been executed that function very well. But we also have to remember that we have other category national teams. We have CHAN, which is local based players. We have the Olympic under-23 team.
Exactly.
We have the under-20 and under-17, and these are all male. And again, we are also coming to have an under-15 national team. This is male alone. And you go to women, you have senior women national team, you have under-20, and you have under-17 women national team. So these are 8 different national teams that are sole responsibility
very active categories.
You understand?
Now, as regards this, what kind of feedback do you receive when you go to town as regards the communication department's efforts in bringing matters of the national team to their doorsteps? What kind of feedback do you receive?
There is always room for improvement. You know, you cannot be complacent and you cannot sit on your roles, thinking that you have monopoly over everything, thinking that what you are, you cannot have this belief that you have monopoly over everything. You know, there is always room for improvement. But to tell you the truth also, the majority of the comments that of the feedback that I get from people outside, you know, they are very heartening for me. You understand? Because quite a lot of time I'll meet with people and they will commend me for transforming the communications of the GFF. But all the time what I say is this: I'm just a director, I have people working under me, they are the brains behind. It's a collective work, not me. You know, they are the ones who are mainly responsible for the implementation. So I think all the successes
but you do direction
that we have as a department, for me, I give the credit to you people to be the implementers. So I think majority of Gambians are very pleased with whatever we do. But of course, there are people who will never appreciate what people do in life. But that is part of life, and there is nothing that you can do about that. But I think the GFF communications now, you know, has definitely gone to a level that it has never been before, and our desire is to take it even beyond that.
You have a dream of turning one of our offices into a studio where we'll have most of our outreach programs recorded and you know viewed by the general public.
Yes, I think this is what we are doing. This is a trial process, and this is going to lead us into that transformation, because you see, digital media, especially social media now, is the fastest means of communicating. Everybody is on social media. As long as you have access to a mobile device, a smartphone, you know, despite the expensive internet tariff in the country, almost everyone with a smartphone. It's not every government that has a smartphone, but most people have a smartphone, and everyone with a smartphone goes on social media. So, and then I think also we cannot leave the reporting of our football into the hands of the mainstream media. With no disrespect meant, but I think, sport is seriously underreported in this country. I saw some maybe 2 days ago.
Yes, I saw it myself. Trying to bring that one back.
You understand?
Then we were at the Observer.
I remember there was a national football consultative forum organized by the then Minister of Youth and Sports.
Yes.
That is 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏. And then I was one of, this was 8 years ago, and I was one of the resource persons.
Okay.
So I did a presentation on media and its role in development of football in the Gambia. You know, and I remember what I said was that we have to try and report more on our local sports in order for us to also contribute our quota. But has much change? If you ask me, I would say no, not much change. Not much. You understand? The other day I was listening to a radio station. I know they normally have this local news bulletin that they do every afternoon. You know, to my dismay, the presenter announced that particular day was a public holiday in the Gambia. So unfortunately, there will be no news because there are no newspapers. So he will go international? No, there was none. So what that is technically telling me is that, I mean, as a journalist, I cannot do my job without having to rely on people. Yeah. You understand? Because it was a public holiday. You understand? Yeah. I mean, we have seen, sometimes when football is all the money in sports is through broadcasting. Absolutely. It's broadcasting. Absolutely. Make no mistake about that. Television all this money that you are seeing in football, all these billions that you are talking about, all this money that FIFA sends to their member associations is all from broadcast revenue. Oh, yes. You understand? But it's disheartening for media companies to ask you to pay them to broadcast football on television. You understand? And that was how we started our own live streaming of our domestic league match. You know, we only limit that now because there's an option now with this new partnership with 11 Sports. You are now going into our new media platform. Exactly. Just continue like you understand. So that is why we have to take ownership of the reporting of our own product. We control our narrative. We have to control our own narrative. You understand? So that is why we are going digital. And then the idea about having transformed one of our offices into a studio is that we use our various social media platforms, not only Facebook, but even YouTube and Instagram, to I mean, do our own programs, talk about our leagues. And it's not only the league that we do here. We have other activities that are seriously underreported. Other activities, you understand? You know, of course there will be challenges, but I think when we start, we will eventually get somewhere. Because when me and you started this journey, I mean, of course you've been here even before that. But when the department was set up and only two of us were in, and today I think our output has definitely developed. Certainly. I also see that there is some transformation. Of course, there is general transformation in the department, but one area also need to talk about is the use of pictures than the usage of much literature. Yes, that is quite true. You see, now people don't want to read. Yes. They don't have time to read. They don't have time to read. And we don't know. Reading is very important. It is. You see, reading, it helps to improve your writing and it helps to improve your language proficiency as well. But people do not want to read. But that's a fact of life now. There isn't much that you can do about that. Me, I'm somebody who loves to read a lot. I read a lot, and anytime I read a lot, I come across a new word, I try to find it, know its meanings, and add it onto my own vocabulary. You understand? Because for me, it's important. It is. You know, but people don't want to read. But you can write, let's say, a 2-minute article that will take somebody 2 minutes to read. The person will not read. The person will not read. Posting a 5-minute video on social media, he or she may likely watch that video to the end. To the end. That is now because everybody is now transforming into digitalization. Absolutely. You understand? Absolutely. So that is why, and also pictures also, they tell a story. Pictures are very, very important. You have traveled with the national team on several occasions. You see how, I mean, on several occasions they will fight with Omar for their pictures. Absolutely. Pictures tell a story. Almost every second. You understand? So pictures are equally very, very, very important. That's why now we try to less our literature and put up more pictures and videos for people to view. That's right. We are coming to the tail end of this conversation, discussion with Babakar Kamara, Director of Communications, on our today's live streaming show on matters regarding communications. Director, finally, away from our communication matters, let's congratulate the President, Mr. Lamin Kababaji, on his election as the President of the West Africa Football Union, WAFU Zone A, that also culminated into his inclusion into the CAF executive. Friday, tomorrow, is going to be his coming back home, and there is a program lined up for his welcoming. You are in the thick of things. Take us through. Well, thank you very much. For me, it definitely gladdens my heart. But it's not something that really surprised me because I know my president and I know the respect that he has among his colleagues. But equally, I was also privy to this information long before it even happened. Yeah, because when Antonio Suarez term elapsed,
Suarez is the president of
you
Guinea.
understand, and then the moment Kaba expressed his intent to be the WAFU president, all the others dropped.
Yes.
And even Antonio Suarez was, could have been eligible for re-election. But the moment Kaba expressed his intent to vie for the position, all the others they dropped. And so I knew it was coming for a long time. But Kaba being the person who doesn't, he wouldn't want
so
to.
Humble he is.
He's very, very humble. That is it. So it came as a major news. A surprise to many people in the Gambia because most people did not see it coming.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But I also really appreciate the way it has been accepted outside and embraced outside there.
Yes.
So, and you see, the importance of being a WAFU president cannot be overemphasized, Bibi. You see, the CAF Executive Committee is responsible for the running of CAF.
So,
the decisions that they take that affects our lives and football positively or negatively are decided by that executive committee.
Yes.
So being a member of the executive committee can only be a plus.
Speaks volumes.
You understand? And then WAFU being presidency also going to the president is very, very important because we know that when WAFU was split in 2011, I remember Sidi Kinde was the president of the GFF at the time. So, and then, Senghor was the president of Senegal. Senghor became president of Senegal, I think, exactly year 2009 when he became the president of the Senegalese FA. So, I remember I interviewed Sidi Kinde on this matter, and he had a gentleman agreement with Senghor. She was interested in the presidency. Senghor was also interested, but he had to leave it for Senghor for him to bring the secretariat of WAFU to the Gambia. And WAFU secretariat should have been established here in this country, just like how the GFF is today. But unfortunately, that
having Gambians to be staffed,
to be paid, and these are going to be paid. But unfortunately, WAFU was all that years. WAFU was run in such a way that it was between Banjul and Dakar. Only two people were running the show at WAFU. I remember there was one particular day. Then I was at the Observer. The late Uncle Obi Konate, may his soul rest in peace. Such a huge loss to Gambia. This is somebody who has financially contributed to my education. He called me and he was very frustrated that, despite his standing in Gambian football, all his efforts to go and visit the WAFU secretariat in the Gambia has been frustrated.
Oh my God.
You understand? And I remember even the president of the GFF, I think it was only during his second term that he was able to visit
WAFU head office.
And unfortunately, people may not know this, but now, as things stand now, the WAFU secretariat has been moved from the Gambia.
It's gone. It's only the structure that is lying down there.
Come on. The WAFU is being run in Senegal now. You understand? But Kaba being the president of WAFU, I think this is an opportunity for us to reclaim what rightfully belongs to us and bring it back to the country and get Gambians employed in there.
Certainly.
I think it's important to not be overemphasized. I know not everybody is going to agree. In certain quarters, some people try to downplay it. But for me, this is very, very important because getting that WAFU office back into the Gambia here, how many people do we have in sports that WAFU office can employ?
A lot of them.
There are a lot of people who are involved in football.
A lot of potentials.
Who are involved in football, they don't have a permanent employment. If the WAFU office comes back to the Gambia, and it serves its purpose because it is structured in such a way that there should be an executive director, deputy. There are departments to be headed by directors. There should be a department of communication, department of finance, department of competition. And these are all to be headed by directors. And they have staff working under them. And these are going to be Gambians. I think now all efforts should be on getting that WAFU office back to the Gambia. And I think there is no better person than the president, who is a Gambian, to do that now.
Absolutely.
You understand?
President Bajo becomes the... You wanted to say something else?
Yeah, and then you said, Yes, he is coming tomorrow. And,
he's coming tomorrow. Yeah. There's a big welcome ready for.
The big welcome is not even directly coordinated by the office. There are people who are out there
responsible
who are happy with the fact that Kaba has been elected as the president of the GFF, and this includes
Wafu rather.
And this includes
he's already president of GFF.
Exactly, he's already president of GFF. And this includes people in the Scorpions fans club.
Yes.
Among other stakeholders who are organizing a welcoming for Kaba.
Yes.
It's not as if it's the GFF that is organizing the welcoming for him. I think that has to be
clear.
Yes,
yeah,
and
that's right.
So tomorrow they are converging and going to the airport, picking from the airport from 6:30.
They are leaving here at 3:30.
Yes, at 3:30.
Flight arriving at 3:30 here.
Yes.
Flight arriving at 6:30.
6:30, and then they will pick him from the airport. There will be some ambience and caravan.
Yep.
And he will come to the GFF here, deliver
make a statement,
and make a statement, thank them, and then that will be the end of proceedings. So I understand already. I mean, there are those who are responsible for this coordination have already, rented a lot of jellies and other vehicles that are going to transport.
Logistics are already on the way.
People who have taken the initiative to welcome and celebrate our president.
Our platform will be there to also carry images of.
course, this is a football matter and this is a national matter.
Yeah.
This is a national matter, and it is something that I think every Gambian should definitely associate yourself with, because this is national. And this is the first time for the history of the Gambia.
That's right.
He's
the first Gambian.
Yes, Kaba has been.
Ǩobi Konate was there, but he was as vice president then.
So he's the first Gambian.
He's the first Gambian.
Wafu. And Wafu is a big organization. You understand? 9 countries.
Yeah, because, we also have to say that CAF now depends on these sub-regional bodies.
Course. I mean,
the sub-regional bodies make up
even
CAF.
Aside from the senior national team, all the other age category and club competitions, the qualifiers are done through the regional.
Exactly. We're going for the under 20.
Exactly. The under 20 that we are going to participate, the under 17 yes. The qualifiers are done through the WAFU A. And other countries also.
President Bajo has a lot of stakes.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. So definitely this is very, very, very
this
important,
is so great.
and it's for a term of 3 years.
It's 3 years.
So having your president as an executive member of CAF,
for 3
obviously,
years. Oh my God.
that will serve your interest. Look at the way Senegalese are celebrating Senghor for being the...
Yesterday we were talking about it at the quarters at the office here, that any CAF event or any of the sub-regional events that you go to, you find a lot of other nationalities except for the Gambia. So this is an opportunity where...
It is. Its importance cannot be overemphasized.
Yep.
If we play our cards well, come on, how many Senegalese do we have now working for CAF and FIFA?
A lot of them.
A lot of them. And you see, we are living
you were watching the awards, you saw them at the awards.
In a world, it's not only what you know also. Who you also know, contacts are very, very important.
Absolutely.
So if we have our president as an executive member of CAF, maybe when there are openings, it's an opportunity for even you to become an employee of CAF.
And even you to become director of CAF.
Who says I don't want to be the general secretary of FIFA? Who says I don't want to be the general secretary of FIFA? Of course, I have my own ambitions.
With President Bajo, how humble he is, absolute trust and confidence that the leadership of even CAF, not WAFU per se, but even CAF on him, that speaks volumes of how our interests could be fought as far as representation of Gambian football is to be.
Definitely.
Yeah. We can't have enough of Babukar Kamara's interface with me. Thank you very much, Director of Communications, Babukar Kamara. That has been him. And thank you so much for following us. Omar Toure, Mariama Koma has been responsible for the backup, directed by Mariama Bojang. I have been your host, Bakari B. Balde. Catch us again for another day. Tomorrow we'll be live with you, bringing you activities of the welcoming of the President of the Gambia Football Federation, Lamin Kaba Bajo, newly elected as the President of the West Africa Football Union, WAFU Zone A. Tomorrow from 6:30 p.m. here at the GFF Secretariat in Kanifing. Until then, bye for now.